Round two.
Round two. Well, that's the reason why we're late, is because I thought we were live. Hi guys, it's Moz here from Airfix and Chill. We've got a full house tonight. We've got 10 people in. It's a bit cold down here in the south. It's -2 at the moment, so it's got the radiators on. So I don't know what it's like around the rest of the years, how cold it is. But we've got a full house tonight, and we've got 35 in the chat, so I'm assuming the other 60 that normally turn up are watching the Hornby's Model World thing on BBC. It was on yesterday, isn't it? Is it yesterday TV? That's what it's called. Yep. So, but yeah. But yeah. Did anybody watch that last week? The Hornby Model World? Put it in the chat, because there was another episode about the 10 top kits, and I was absolutely mortified that the Spitfire wasn't in that top 10. Does anybody else agree that that was a shit decision?
It was questionable, yes.
Well, it's so I can't make comment.
Unbelievable.
They put a new tooled Vulcan in at number 6, did they? Or number 5?
Something like that, yeah.
And you're like, what? The Spitfire is the icon for scale. Every scale modeler has built a Spitfire, and every Corgi collector has collected a Spitfire. The only person I don't believe cares about Spitfire is the production company. I just can't believe it got missed. It's such they the last series they did a whole episode on the brand new tooled starter set version that's sold out. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it.
It was an interesting decision that the fact that they've just done this new 1/24 scale Spitfire, which in essence has a legacy dating all the way back to 1954, and the BTK downscaled Aurora version that Airfix did, in blue plastic. You know, like everything. I don't think if that kit hadn't been successful back then, would they have been where they are today?
No.
It seems like such a milestone that they never bothered to mention it. Like Airfix is synonymous with Spitfires. Everyone jokes about it, and the fact that they didn't even lean on that in the episode is questionable at best.
When it got to number 2, I applauded and said, "Oh, they put Spitfire at number 1. Well done, good decision." That, and they had that pile of crap that people couldn't even afford to buy it. That Stevenson rocket thing, couldn't they? Do you know what I mean? But I just couldn't believe they did not have Spitfire on that list. And even so much, I tweeted it to yesterday saying they were tossers for not putting it in the top 10. I didn't use the word tosser, but I was like, I was bereft. I said, who wrote this script? You got Lyndon there going, "Oh, no, I said about the Hellcats. Yeah, we got to get the hell." And I'm like, so what? You know, Spitfire, you know, and they admit it, you know, it's the best-selling model ever. Revel do 1,000. Airfix have done 1,000. Armor Hobby's done a Spitfire. The Tamiya Spitfire is the best in the world, isn't it? But, you know, I just didn't, I don't get it. Really don't get it. Anyways, so how is everyone? Let's go around the room. Let's see. Hi, James. How are you? You feeling good?
I'm feeling a lot better. Thanks, mate. A lot better.
I'm glad you're feeling good, because this kit did make me feel good last night. This kit on my desk.
I don't know what the problem is, to be honest. But
No.
It's called Moss.
There's so much money went into that swear box. I'm almost there to a new Porsche.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to a drive round in one then, in that case. Yeah, no. In fairness to you, Moss, I really didn't expect to be talking to you at 11:30 last night, but it was a pleasure.
You rang me.
Eh? Well,
You
no.
rang me.
Technically, after 17 messages, I thought it was best to save you the effort of the fingers.
It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. Right.
Well, hey, look,
So,
at the end of the day, if I'm brutally honest, that is part of the fun of the inspiration boxes. There are challenges, and it's the way you overcome them, as all good modelers. So well done you for doing it live. As I said to you last night, I will repeat it. You're insane. But yeah, well done you for doing it live. And I'm sure the people that are watching took a lot from it as well, Moss. Not
Yeah,
just the swearing. Maybe there were words they didn't know before. But, it certainly would have given an eye-opener to some of the issues you can find with kits. And, I'll be honest, I was oblivious to it until you called. And hung my head in shame. So much so, I didn't tell you this, but so much so that I couldn't sleep last night until about 4:30. I was so stressed out by our conversation. But, yeah.
What a lie. What a lie.
No, it's true. Honest to God, my hand on my heart, I couldn't sleep. I really couldn't. So, yeah. But the good thing is...
Nightmares.
You accidentally give Moss your address.
It is what I asked for. I asked for feedback because it's a new venture, and there will be some things in which I miss, and we can put them right next time. So yeah, that's almost an apology. What you got?
It was honestly, mate. It was just as I was doing it, I was like, it was just, it's just mini art. So it's just one of them, really. But yeah, I'll go into it in a bit because that's the reason why I thought I'd bring up the chat. With the title of the chat is "Does part count matter?" But we'll get into that in a bit. But anyway, moving on to John Alec. Oh, sorry, to Bodie go. Yeah, it's a mini art kit. Yeah, it is a mini art kit. So let's move over to John Alec. How are you, my friends? What you got?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's cold here too, but everything's good.
Everything's good, is it? Did you hit 1,000 subscribers last week?
Almost 2 weeks ago, it was just fantastic. So I'm grateful for everybody. Thank you.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now the next milestone is 10,000. So
right.
Hopefully see you up there. We'll get you up there most definitely. So also in the chat tonight, making a welcome return really to a workbench of sorts is Sully. Hello, my friend.
Hello. All right.
Yeah. How's it going? I see the updates of your workshop coming through.
Yeah, it's getting there. Very slowly.
I did put a picture up of a rusty bed that's been heavily weathered for your new office, your new workspace.
Yeah, I think I might have to get one of those. The thing is that because I put in in our group because I found out that Dulux do a rust effect paint set, so I think at least one of the walls is going to get that. I mean, I might as well, hadn't I? I'm known for weathering. I might as well weather a wall.
Well, I don't. Do you know what? Right? Do you remember years and years ago? They brought out that paint that give like a fake wood effect, and what you would do, you painted it white, and then you would paint it brown. And you get like this thing that had teeth on it, and you'd scrape it down. Then you get this rubber thing with little roundos on it, and then you would do this sort of motion all the way, that sort of not the Port Vale, but doing that down the leg to make it look like. And it never worked. It never worked.
Remember that? Yeah, I remember seeing that stuff.
Yeah, it was crap. Right, Captain VSC, what have you got on the workbench?
Oh, I have the Revell Hawker Hunter.
I'll put that away.
No.
It's not Revell, it's Matchbox.
No, it is actually their tooling, 2005.
Wow.
It has some problems. They decided to give it absolutely no engine detail. So I put some blanking plates on because I'm going to make some covers over it to make it look like it's on the ground with the engine protected. But it's quite disappointing that they've put the effort into molding the ejector seat absolutely fine and then just given up on things like the engine detail.
Yeah.
But it fits together nicely.
Yeah, fair play to you. We got back there. Nunu, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening, all.
Evening.
Are you working on what are you working on there? Let me guess.
The F4F.
The F4F again?
Yeah.
How's that? Number 6 now? Number 7?
No, I'm still number 6. I'm doing the decals. This one is the Monday, the Monday model. You know.
Yeah.
Just for this
looks
stream.
lovely.
I don't bring Revel like some people around here making it.
I don't know what you mean, to be honest.
Some of us are faithful.
Done that wrong. Well, I was going to try and get you up. Hang on, where are you? There you are. I've got so many people in here tonight. So yeah, it's looking quite nice. That. What scheme are you doing?
Doing the Skin B.
Oh yeah.
The VF6 United States Navy USS Enterprise. So I went for painting the rudder instead of decals. So now I'm doing it with the folded wings, something like this.
Wow.
And in pre-May 1942 with the red and white tail stripes before they removed it.
Yeah,
nice,
yeah, it's coming along nicely, but
yeah,
it's a nice little kit, to say the least.
Back in the chat for a little bit. We've got Matt from Model Minutes. Hello, my friend. How are you? You're not feeling too good, I guess. You've got the lurgy, is that right?
Yeah, there's stuff going around, isn't there? So unfortunately, it's caught up with me. So I might not be here for too long. But yeah, I'm here. I'm alive.
Yeah. You're desperate to run away and watch that Hornby Model World, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I love it. It's my favourite. It's interesting to watch.
What we could do is after this, we could do what we did last week and watch it together. That was good fun. That was.
As long as I'm not asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you just duck out, mate.
Yeah,
And then we can bring Ms. Modeler in, because I think she's in the back waiting. We've got a full house tonight. We can't have any more than
waiting
10
in the wings.
Yeah. Famous Models, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right.
So you're a bit of figure painting tonight, is it?
Yeah, the pilot for the Buffalo. So just
figure painting.
Yeah.
What do you use? Are you using Vallejo for that? Are you?
Yep. Vallejo's in the go-to. So all the airline, I find that the air is pretty good for figure painting, so you don't have to thin it as much. But I do still thin a little.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, fair enough. We got Hamish in the chat as well. Hi, Hamish. How are you? He's on mute. Okay, we'll bypass him. And move over to Rorex. Hello, my friend. Long time no see.
Hello.
He is our,
finally, work is not needing me in at 6:30 tomorrow. So.
Fair enough. Well, that's everyone in the chat spoken for. So if Ms. Modler wants to pop in at some point, we'll have to try and get her in. So only can have 10 on this chat for some reason, so it's a bit annoying. Right, just quickly in the chat, we got Dan Asher making an appearance. A few things, but nothing major. Besides Costco run and a bit of modelling, till my old man gets involved at 420. Fair enough. 420 scale modellers in the chat. Plastic Monkey's in the chat. Nice to see you, my friend. Wayne Welly's in the chat. I really wish they said which of the channel members on here, because it doesn't show you on this box here on live stream. But Owen Risings, I'm building the Revel 135th Tiger. 75th anniversary kit at the moment. It's actually a good kit. I've heard good things about that kit, to be fair. But yeah, so what's happened? Hamish has died, is he?
Not literally.
I think his connection's dropped.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say he's a bit young for that, but
yeah, fair enough.
Whatever floats his boat.
Whatever floats his boat. If Liz Modler wants to pop in, she can pop in now because we've got space now. If she's watching, she can pop in. So basically, we're all doing kit tonight. But the question was really asked for tonight was, does part count really matter? Now, I was watching the Interesting Modelling Company's live stream or questions with Dale and Luke, and one of the comments that came up was whether they could mention the word Katie, and they looked at each other and said, "No, we don't mention the K word." And Jonathan looked a little bit, "Oh, okay." And it turns out that Dale was actually a little bit miffed, is the word. We actually used the word pissed off. That he was paying licensing to use the vehicle as a tooling, where Gecko didn't. And then people were actually understanding of why was the Airfix kit with less part count around the same price as the Gecko one. Well, obviously, then it must mean that they had to pay a licensing fee per kit, or in such a way, and Gecko didn't. So, hence why the tooling might be different. But I'm putting it out there. What's your thoughts? We had a bit of a quick talk about it, and I think you, Sully, came up with an interesting thought about it, saying that that they may have just thought they went into it. Gecko put that price out there, not knowing what they really had, and they underpriced it, sort of thing.
No, that wasn't me. That's too clever for me.
Who was that? Who said that then? Who mentioned
It
that?
was
it
me.
you? Was it you, James? Was it you?
Yeah, it was me. I mean,
yeah.
I think the problem is when you're doing a new release, obviously, unless there is collaboration, which there wasn't on this occasion, then your marketing people will sit and try and figure out the best price that's going to sell the most kits, etc. And I think that's what they did. And then obviously they were, it happens across all markets. Sometimes you get caught out going a little bit too high or a little bit too low. And in this occasion, I think they went a little bit too low because they didn't want to be stuck with an albatross, basically. The problem is, I mean, how many people have you heard say, God, how long have we been waiting for this particular kit? And to have two come out at the same time, you couldn't write it. So that's my personal opinion. That's not based on anything other than my opinion. And obviously, it's one of those things that once you put your product out at that price, someone comes along and matches it without as many parts, for example, as in this case, then you can't really backtrack and go, well, actually, we'll put another tenner on it then in that case, because then it's too late.
Yeah.
So, I think we all should be really, really lucky, especially if you bought it on its first run. It might be a little bit more expensive on the second run purely because shipping costs and all that stuff. But yeah, or maybe there's a strategy. There may well be a strategy from Gecko in their pricing. So I can only make that assumption. But yeah,
I'd like to see what Gecko do with that tooling though. Because if you already know, because Airfix have now released another variant of the tooling, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what Gecko will bring out next.
Well, Gecko have bought out the closed cab 30 CWT 4x2 GS truck, which is basically the same, some of the same bits. Obviously the back's different. And I'm fairly certain that they've got other items in their range that will be coming because they've done the British landing craft as well. That's quite a recent kit. So they're concentrating on that area. Well, let's face it, American subjects are out there one a penny, whereas British subjects aren't as readily available. So it's a good shout.
Yeah. Has anyone here built both the Gecko, or have they built either the Gecko or the Airfix?
I have the Gecko to build.
What's your thoughts on it? Just by looking inside the box. Have you looked inside the box?
Yeah, I've done the review, the inbox review on the channel, and I'm quite surprised by the price that it is, the amount of detail that is packed on it.
Yeah.
with the photo wedge and everything, is quite good value for the money.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've actually done a comparison video of the two kits.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. And my conclusion from it was basically the kits were designed for different parts of the market. Because the Gecko kit is fully loaded with loads of parts, loads of bits and pieces. Whereas Airfix and the way Airfix work is they try and create a product that has a wide span of interest and level of skill to build up the kit. So it's really difficult to compare the two. The fact that they're relatively closely priced is quite unusual in the market. So yeah, the reviews on the channel, and it's an interesting look at.
Yeah, I've not really. I've seen a couple of builds, and in fact, I gave my kit to Celtic West to build because I wasn't going to have time to build it, and I gave it to him to build, and he brought it along to Model Club last Tuesday, and he's done a bloody awesome job on it, mate. He really has. It's I was going to pass it off as mine, but he's done an absolute stonker on it, like, you know. But at the moment, at the moment, I'm just trying to get through the bits that I've already had planned to build, and it's but like what I've seen of it, I've seen Spencer Pollard. I think he's done a version as well, which looks pretty good. I've seen quite a few that do look good. And if you get the finish right, it comes up to be. It's not a hard build, allegedly. So there are a few issues where if you don't put the pins in the right place, the roof's a little bit off or something, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, I built the Airfix kit and I did full foul of the placing of the roof. But that wasn't it was something in which I just didn't think I could do, but I managed it. But other than that, the kit is a nice build, and well worth the money. I got to be honest.
But morally, then, so in a moral stance, like, would you all feel it was if say Airfix's kit was £35 and the Gecko one was 36, but you knew with the Gecko one you were getting more parts. But knowing that they haven't paid a licensing, that's why it's not called. Because did they have the princess on the front originally? Apparently, like a figure of the princess.
Well, in the kit there is a female figure, but it is it isn't the queen. It isn't the princess. It's just a female figure, and that female figure is in Gecko's range already in a different boxing. So it was a logical thing to do. Given that its fame, but yeah.
But was it morally? Would you morally buy the Airfix one or the Gecko one? See, me personally, I would buy the Airfix one because I think morally it'd be right to do so, seeing that they're doing it the right way. Where Gecko are not even using the right words, are they? Or the right. There's something about the title that it doesn't actually say what it is, isn't it? If you know what I mean. So
I think that comes down to an informed decision, though, seeing as you would know the facts that you've just explained. If it was just a passing interest and you're in the model shop and you've got the Airfix one and the Gecko one, and one's cheaper than the other, you're going to possibly be swayed by how much money you've got in your wallet and go, well, this one's got less parts, it's probably easier, it might be a bit cheaper, so I'll get that one.
Yeah, the Airfix one has the decals for the Princess Elizabeth Katie. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, they don't mention it though, do they? It was only because when Celtic done mine, the kit, I said to him, I goes, check out the decals because I'm sure one of them's got Katie written on him, and there it was. Yeah, but they don't mention it though because there's about a licensing thing. So. But yeah, it's interesting stuff. But does part count really matter? I guess when you're doing, I'm building this Bantam at the moment for the Sprue Box, and I did a live stream for the channel members last night, and it was a case of why have they done this spring in 3 parts when they could have molded it in 1. Hence the swear box getting a few coppers last night, like, you know, trying to put it together. But it's coming together quite well. I'm really pleased with how it's come together. You know, you scratch your head and stuff and try and make sure that you get everything in position. But it was just a fiddly job putting it together. The engine's in for 5 bits, but you're getting a good bit of detail there. And this is my first mini art kit with wheels, because the other mini art kits I've built have been tanks. Yeah, it's coming together quite well. Any kits that you've built where you felt that the part count was too much? Throwing it out there to everyone. That you felt that the part count was a little bit too much for what it was? Didn't need to be that much?
I built some stuff that I thought, well, like you says, you know, that could be maybe like 1 piece or less pieces than it needed to be.
Yeah.
But to be fair, generally, I don't really care. I just if I like the look of the model or the subject or whatever, I'll buy it. I don't really personally care for what the part count is on them myself.
Yeah, it's more about the subject for me. I just look at what I'm building, really.
I don't really personally. I don't care.
There are times where you build a model and you think to yourself, why have you made that 4 pieces? Why isn't it just 1? It would have been so much easier just to have it as 1. It could be a design choice because maybe they couldn't get it molded in a certain way and they had to split it into 4 pieces, or maybe they just think that they're making more efficient use of the sprue, or, you know, there could be loads of reasons why they made that design choice, but you sit there and think to yourself, that doesn't need to be 4 bits. However, on the flip side of it, there's also kits you build and you think to yourself, why isn't that an extra bit? Like, I've got some aircraft where the engine exhausts are molded onto the fuselage sides on the side of the nose, and that could definitely be an extra part. So it swings and roundabouts, and I think it comes down to how long the company's been manufacturing kits and the lessons that they've learned in time.
Any tank that has individual link pin tracks, that's too many parts.
Yeah. But then again, they usually give you rubber ones as well. So.
Well, yeah, but there's an example of one that I don't think it had rubber ones at all. The Academy, which is now Airfix Stuart. I don't think that has rubber ones.
Yeah, mine's got rubber tracks, yeah.
Fair enough. The best ones are the plastic ones, which are 1 piece on the bottom and saggy ones on the top, and then just individual links for around the sides. It's the most efficient way of doing it. If you want individual track pins, that's what the aftermarket market.
Yeah.
The extra detail people, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm trying to also find a part, so...
Wasn't it Ming who brought out a tank and it was like 800 pieces, but 750 of them were just making up the links in the in the
My Sherman was like that.
Your Sherman?
Yeah, which was that tack-off. Pretty much exactly the same, but to be honest with you, I quite enjoyed it. It was quite weird. It's therapeutic. They're just a very clever way.
Some people do say it's quite therapeutic because once you get into a rhythm,
that's it. Yeah. I mean, admittedly, I was not looking forward to it because they're like, I think if they give you a jig, I think you make 6 pieces, and you got the 2 front pads were separate, the 2 back pads were separate, the bar, the torsional, the bar that goes through was separate, and the guide hall was separate as well.
Day 207, and Sully is still on the tracks.
Once I got into it, it was fine. I wasn't looking forward to it initially, but as I got into it, it was all right, to be fair. But I do understand that, you know, that's not everybody's thing. Like, you know, I mean, it's a lot of work. I think it may depend as well. Now, if you're going to buy a tack-on kit, expect to do a stupid amount of stuff to it. If you buy something like Ravel or Airfix or maybe Tamiya, they're probably going to be a little bit simpler. Tracks, but you know, if you're going to buy something like a Takom or Meng, expect to do some stupid amounts of work.
Yeah.
I
think that's where you
Everybody's everybody's mentioning Ming in the chat here of being quite a lot of parts, but they are detailed, but they are good kits. So
I think that's the hitting it on nail on the head, so to speak, isn't it? At the end of the day, as we were saying earlier about Airfix and the what's in the ambulance, you're working towards a particular part of the market, and there is a part of the market that likes to be able to sit down and do a weekend build, and there are people that don't mind it takes a month to do, so you're definitely just looking at different types of the market. So in that case, the answer to your question is yes, it does matter, because it alludes to different elements of the market.
The example for that, you have the Edward with the Profit Pack and the Weekend Edition. Where the Profit Pack comes loaded with Res MP and all the things, and the Weekend Edition is just the simple model, and that's it.
I see that.
In that case, because I like my old kits, I always go for the Profit Pack because it's got the extra bits in, the fancy bits.
I normally go for the Weekend Edition because I can't be arsed.
But then you don't get detail like this.
I got a resin tank that is 3 parts. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Is what I'm saying.
If that takes you a month to build, you've got problems.
Byfield Challenger 2 tracks, 79 segments, each segment made up of 3 pieces, 237 parts just for one side.
Fuck that.
Yeah, but all depends on what floats the boat for the modeler.
It
does. If they enjoy it or not.
But I bear with me on this, right? My favourite bit on scale modelling is the build, right? But to sit there and if surely a modeler will look at it and go, well, there's that there, which is that you can what's it called, track and link, is it called, and you just or you got one where you've got to actually go for it and you've got 6 parts per. I would go for that other one because it's easier, because then I can then focus on the other parts of the build. But then again, I consider myself quite a lazy modeler.
It's a tank. You're just going to chuck dirt over it anyway.
All depends what you're looking for. And we had this discussion with Captain VFC and Miss Modeler on the Hawker Hurricane Day. I'm building the Edward Mustang, and I have the cockpit fully detailed. I spent over a week just on the cockpit, setting details, washing, and everything. And both of them were like, "Are you mad? That's a 2 hours job."
It's the inside of the plane.
Yeah, but for me, it's some of the fun of it. I know it's there. I know I've done it. It's the fun of it. It what floats my boat.
I'm pretty sure you were rocking backwards and forwards as you were showing us the pictures, though.
I tell you what, the way I model is basically like Alcus would say, it's how long I'm going to spend on it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to do Games Workshop stuff, but they're so expensive for what you're getting. I can build that within. I could probably build and paint an Airfix Games Workshop figure within a day. But then if I find someone that it's got a lot of detail to it, then I'll certainly go for that because I'm having more joy out of it.
That's a fair shout.
It's got more parts.
420 scale modelers has just said trumpeter kits tend to have a lot of parts too. I think Airfix have always been a happy medium. I kind of get that.
I can see that.
And then like Bren Stratus just said, Mini Art Auto Gyro Kit is piggy for the gaskets for both the inlet and outlet and exhaust ports. I have that kit in my stash, and I look at it. I pull it out every so often because I bought some Outclad paints to do that one kit with. So I wanted to do a kit with Outclad, and I looked at it the other day, and do you know what? I put the lid back on and put it back on the shelf. I did, yeah, I did. Yeah. Extra part of the simplified painting can be a nice bonus, and that's a good shout. You know, if you want to paint something before you stick it down, that's a good shout. I get that.
Oh, what a surprise! The instructions are wrong on this kit.
Way revel, dun 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 dun. Revel.
I'm working on a revel right now. Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. They don't even include parts in the instructions that you have to add. You figure it out when you have parts left over.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, even though it's quite a new kit and it has very good instructions, it has the full-blown color sheet style. It still just has a question mark and then points to a part. It doesn't tell you which option it actually goes for.
Maybe they don't know. Hence the
question mark. I don't care. There might be a part that goes here. We don't know. We don't care. Sort it out.
Luke Island said that the build should be fun and not a chore, but like I said, it's horses for courses, isn't it? It's you know, it depends what you want to do, you know. But you know, I've seen basic kits win, you know, model competitions, you know, and you got this one guy there who spent resin and photo etch and everything, and you know, not even get 5th place. So it depends what you want to do, innit? You know, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I like a middle ground. I wouldn't want it to be too easy. Like, for example, Hobby Boss. Even though Hobby Boss make decent kits, they're still very, very simple. But I wouldn't want it to be unnecessarily complicated.
I never mentioned it. I never said it. But now you have mentioned it. You know, that there, like I was saying, that there cat is 5 pieces. I can believe it. It is the ultimate starter set.
Related, the 163, it's like has most of the entirety of the fuselage is just these 2 pieces, or the body of the just these 2 pieces, and then a couple bits. Like,
hang on, the Revell one is apparently a skill level 3. What? It's not even got that many parts. What are they? What are they
skill
smoking?
level means nothing.
It means nothing. We need to do a video. We should collab on that one, Matt, and do a video and say exactly what Revel level is all about. Because
Revel level.
The Revel level is not it's bollocks.
I know, but the thing is, if it is supposedly based on number of parts, then how is that a level 3? This is a level 4, the Hunter, and that's got like 100 and something.
It's because between 30 and 100 parts, it's level 3.
Yeah,
that's like 70 parts. That's so vague. And then 100 to 150 or something, it's level 4 or something. It's such a bad way of determining a skill level system, because it takes into no account the difficulty with the transfers, the difficulty with the paint scheme, the difficulty with the assembly. You could have a 150 part kit that goes together really easily and everything just fits. Or you can have a 10 part kit, which everything has to be sanded, everything has to be dry fitted, everything has to be modified, and then it still doesn't work in the end.
So what you're saying, Matt, is that if Revell were to answer the question, does part count matter? The answer would be absolutely yes, always, every time. The part count is everything.
Yes, because it's misleading in the way that they market their kits. Yeah.
It's like Tigers has written. Personally, I'll pick up the regular Airfix Spitfire Mark V over the starter Mark V because it's more detailed. But as Pramajit says, if you put those together, and they tested it, haven't they? You can hardly tell the difference between the two. Once that canopy's on, you can't tell the difference between the pair of them, can you? That was the idea of it, wasn't it?
Fine, then I'd rather get the normal release one because it's in better colours, 2 decal options.
Yeah, 2 decal options. Yeah, I'll get that.
And the instructions are correct.
See, this Panther here is a vintage classic. And I've just found vintage classics, and I've always said to myself, these should all be level 2s. And this is the first one I think I got in the set. That is actually level 2 because there's the part count on it is 79 pieces for small. It's small, So, and all the gearing is all individual apart from the rubber track. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's 20 pieces just in the gearing alone. You know, and that's a level 2. But a lot of them are class level 1. But I always said Vintage Classic should be level 2 because you have got to work at it. You know, you are going to get a little bit. It's not ping off the sprue and dry fit and glue. You've got to sometimes work at it to get it to even fit. If you know what I mean. So, but that's why. You know, people keep saying, you know, because I put a little meme out last week or this week about Revel reboxing. And people will say, yeah, but Airfix do that with a Vintage Classic. But no, Vintage Classic is a brand in itself. I think Quick Build is a brand in itself. Vintage Classic is a brand in itself. There's not a lot of reboxings that are past 2010 these days, is there? So the kits are roughly, every kit that's reboxed by Airfix now is under 13 years old.
If I pick up this Bearcat in a shop, it does not tell me how old it is. I have to look that up.
Yeah.
1967. I think.
Wayne Welly's bought the 1/350th scale Bismarck by Academy. Well, good luck with that. That's a tough kit, isn't it?
It's a big girl.
It's a big bird, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that you can spend hours on an interior, stick the canopy on and see nothing. Yeah. I see that a lot.
Good job.
Check the 1/32 Avenger. I spent a lot on that, but I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it, did you?
Well, I put a lot of photo etch into that one.
How did you get on with the weathering? Could you recognise the plane after you finished? That's the question. Isn't it?
I'll be honest with you. I went quite light on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Could people fly on it after we finish?
Yeah. I wasn't going to sit in the bar for 6 months, 6 years.
No, but you did submerge it in the bathtub.
Yeah, Airfix. Oh, nice to see Model Kit stuff in the chat. I've not seen you for a while, mate. How'd you get on at Bolton? Airfix are being honest, saying it's vintage, and they put the date on it for the tooling, which is true. You know, Revel released Matchbox. So we've talked about this a couple of chats ago, didn't we? That Revel released a Matchbox stuff from 1970. Box it as new, like the first diorama range last year, all Matchbox. But yeah,
they're not bad kits. They just need to be open with it.
See, I was thinking of, I wanted to bring in my own range of accessories to the modelling world, you know, just put it out there. And I've got a friend who has a pre-vac machine. And he said he said that it's quite easy to make plaster of Paris moldings and instead of using steel, using plaster of Paris to make dioramas for tanks for 135 and 176 scale. So I was thinking of doing that because I think the what's it called, the vac fucking form diorama sets from Matchbox really do bring home to me what it was like being a scale modeler back in the day. I used to love them.
Isn't that what we discussed last week about how people don't want to just do a model anymore? They don't want to just have a plane or a tank and put it on the shelf. They want to have a little scene, a little vignette, or a little diorama. And those Revel kits, yes, they are granted Matchbox reboxes, but they give you that. They give you that next step into being able to create something that isn't just a discrete entity, and it's telling a story. And that's what modelers, a lot of modelers like to do, is to tell stories. I like to do that with my builds, but I don't always have the time to.
But Matt, the piss take is the price.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the piss take. Matchbox kits are pretty good, and they still are. For those, you know, there are those who thumb them, but the price. But you know, I'm thinking we're seeing, you know, Airfix have made a decision this year not to increase their prices, but we still haven't seen what Tamiya's going to come out with their pricing, because that's when it's going to pinch. We've seen Revel bringing up their pricing, and to be fair, Hella isn't that cheap either. Oh, here we go. I'm getting attacked here about the 3D printer. News I said about doing a diorama.
I'm gonna tell
in the chat.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, Moz. As soon as you start saying, I thought about bringing my own thing, I was like, oh, that's why you got the 3D printer.
I'm just
got a whole
waiting
new line of pegs.
I'm waiting to get to that 20,000 subscriber because apparently 3D resin printers get thrown at you, don't they, Matt, when you get to 20,000 subscribers?
Well, I wouldn't say thrown. That wouldn't be very safe. But yeah, I think when you've got yourself a little fan base and you want to try some printing out, that they potentially might ask you and say, "Hey, you want to do some printing?" And turns
Luke
out,
Island's just written, you could bring in your own range of pegs.
Yep.
Yeah, you could.
Oh,
Moz acrylics,
Moz wash.
Moz enamels.
Moz wash.
Yeah. I'm going to call it Mozfix.
Moz wash. Yeah, that has my vote.
Looking forward to the reissues of the Airfix SS Great Western. I might be able to afford one instead of paying insane prices that are on eBay. Yeah, I'll tell you, mate. You know, I honestly I'm going to get Luke on. I'm going to actually try and get Luke on Airfix and ask about the vintage classics and how, you know, what they actually deal. You know, so that bomb bug. You know, the amount of people who have overshot the gamut and said it's the bomb bug that they want this year. I'm surprised they not really milked it and put the price up for like 20 odd quid a go, like, you know. But you know, it's that's one that I'm looking forward to. Bomb bug. I never got a chance to build it years ago. There's another one that's missing, isn't there? Is it the Townsend boat or something? There's a ship, isn't it, that's got missing? They can't find. Which will be interesting.
You know what other vintage classic people should buy?
Which one?
The Oster Antarctic. Look at that. Oh. The skis. I remembered why I put floats on this now. It's because the skis are shit. They're just one piece, just sort of a blob vaguely with a base on it, whereas the floats actually look like floats.
So is that the Airfix one, is it?
Yeah, it's the same tooling. It's even got the hole in it for the stand.
Wow.
I made this a long time ago.
Was that one that you bought off eBay cheap, was it?
No, this was when it was last released in, 2006 or 7-ish. I would have made it around then.
When you guys ask if the part count, does this count as insanity?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the photo for the 1700 Devonshire.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Moswash, yeah. Celtic West put Tamosia panel liner.
Monstercraft.
Monstercraft.
That's from
that
Matt.
is
That's from Matt.
now. Mr. Craft is one that don't care about part count, do they? That's one kit.
No. Well, they don't care about parts at all, let alone the count.
3 pieces in box. That is Mr. Craft. Yeah, but they're not for the same thing. We don't care. 3 pieces in box. Okay.
Man, they don't even care about the parts, let alone the count.
Don't even put them in a bag. Just chuck them in a box.
Yeah. Throw it.
You say that, but my Devotine D520 came in a bag.
Oh.
I know, but everything else hasn't.
Yeah, that one must have slipped through the net somehow.
They obviously forgot to take it out of the bag from the other manufacturer before they put it in their own box.
I know what Mr. Craft is doing. They are trying to be ecological, so no plastic bags, just plastic pieces.
It does mean
and they're
they get lost,
recycling. They're recycling tooling.
So David Coombe says the bomb bug is going to be expensive. Saw the prices.
About 11 quid,
and
isn't
release periods on the other side. No, it's a tenner in it for the bomb bug.
Yeah, that's correct. Some people might have been misled by my video because I left the wrong price in it. I left it at 30 quid.
Really?
Yeah. So I've made an edit and I put it on my video saying that it's £11. It's not 30. It's my fault. I put the wrong price on because I tried to get
bloody
it done within 4
YouTubers.
hours. I know, terrible. I think
There
so
goes
if some
the
people
market.
have seen that and they've taken that as gospel, then that's, I'll put my
Your
hand
own
up.
problem.
Yeah. But to be fair, at the beginning of the video, it does say the information here is to be, taken with a pinch of salt. Go and look for yourself, basically. So go onto the Airfix website. It should be £11 for the bomb bug.
Yeah.
Beer time.
That's one. Is that one you're going to build, Matt? Are you going to go for
I've
that
not
one?
pre-ordered it.
You've not pre-ordered it?
No, I pre-ordered other things. I don't know. I feel like I have to pick the things that I'm going to do the most,
Yeah.
And then so it's not something that I thought I would end up doing. Yeah, $10.99 on the website if you go on there now. I'll drop a link into the chat so that you can
do
see.
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's too much head. Too much head.
Too much head.
Yeah.
Modern minutes inflation.
Yeah. The benefit there is it all goes to me. So you're supporting me directly.
I say fair play to Airfix though, because like we were talking, the guy who had it up for 350 quid, the original bomb bug, is probably there crying in his, in his wife's breast at the moment, going, "Oh, they only didn't release it." But they have sold for around that price. If you go back to sold listings, there was a lot there for around the 290 mark at least. And you would have thought that could have, in theory, said, "We're going to release this for 30 quid because you've not seen it." But fair play, because there isn't an expensive vintage classic, is there?
The 24th scale stuff.
No, I'm not talking about that size. I'm talking about the cars and the 172 stuff and the tanks. They're all under a tenner, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mostly, not all.
Yeah.
Got to say, I've had a bit of a mixed bag with the vintage classics, but then I've got this one, the Bassett. That I'm building now, and the wings and the rear stabilizers, they're absolutely rock solid. They've gone in lovely. Like they're not like having to be propped up or anything like that.
That is generally the problem with that old Airfix.
See,
lucky dip.
Yeah.
The thing with some of the vintage, the older kits, that they were designed to be played with, aren't they, as well? So they do have some some sort of gift to it.
I've just looked online. There are some people still selling the Airfix bomb bug, the vintage like red stripe version for 350 quid. I think the only people who are going to buy that are like collectors who want it because it's vintage and they're not going to build it, and they're going to put it in a box and it will sit there and it will be just. But that's sort of an intrinsic value because physically it's a bit of card, a bit of plastic, and a bit of paper, and that's all it is. So the value
and the decals will be shit.
Oh yeah, so it won't be usable really. So
what amuses me is that those people that do that try and sell these things for a ridiculous amount of money, and then those idiots who buy them and do exactly as Matt says and leave them lying around. What ultimately happens is their kids or grandkids just take them all to a car boot sale and flog them for a $5.
Yeah.
They go anyway.
Eventually, yeah.
Saying that though, I went to a car boot. I won a car boot. I'll tell you, it was one of these jumble trails. We'd go around people's houses and he'd buy stuff. There was a guy there and he had some Airfix stuff. And he looked like a guy selling dodgy fake handbags. He goes, "Oh, I've got some proper classics around the back. Do you want to have a look?" And I went, "Yeah, I'll have a little look." So I go around the back of his house in like this, like in the coal bunker. And he brought out this kit. And it was is it Verto? The twin propeller. Or was it a Belvedere? One of those anyway. And he goes, "Here's red stripe, £400. I said, "No, mate." I said, "You got it wrong." No. I watched Antiques Roadshow. Those red stripe ones, they fetch thousands. I says, "No." I says, "Red stripe doesn't mean fuck all now. Do you know what I mean?" I said, "This is, red stripe mint is." It's just the way they branded it. Don't make it any way, it's not first edition. Oh. Would you want it for 300?
Black market red stripe.
Red stripe means nothing. I've got quite a few red stripes in my stash, to be fair.
Me too.
I've got one, but it's missing a lot of parts, and I bought it for £3.
Great.
So I think I might just 3D print the parts that are missing.
Yeah, you can use my humble printer for that if you like.
No, you're making the jokes yourself.
Wow. The Airfix, I didn't see that. The Airfix Black Widow is £20.49.
It's quite a sizable aircraft, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're all.
I made it. All tooling.
It's why when I say they're not all a tenner, they are sort of reasonably priced for the size that they are, and they're sort of down a notch. So if it were 30 quid new, it'd be maybe 20. If it was 12 quid new, it would be 8 or something like that. So it is reasonable. I don't have a problem with the pricing.
Luke Highlands just said, surely the vintage classics as a tool have made their money years ago. So once costs for manufacturers covered, it's pretty much free money for Hornby. Yeah, and Dale mentioned at the Creator Day, and we mentioned it before, they spend more on the decal sheet than on the actual plastic in the box.
Yeah, well, they have to go to Cartograph, don't they? So Cartograph being their own company, they're going to put a markup on their product before Airfix buys them. So, but naturally, I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong, Cartograph decals are amazing. And he said that they come in standard sizes. So if you want a kit which then requires a non-standard size, it's extra because they have to then get it cut specifically and extra things put in. So naturally, it's going to be a higher price. If you wanted to go back to the days where Airfix, I think they made their own transfers, the old thin papery ones, which have dot matrix printing on them. If you want to go back to those days and have a far inferior product, then yes, the price could come down. But people have become so accustomed to having these good quality ones that I don't think that would go down well.
You would have to pry the Cartograph decals out of my cold, dead hands.
And put a red stripe on it, right?
And put a red stripe on it and sell it for £400.
Because that's the other thing about vintage classics is that people say, "Oh, but they only rebox, No, they redesign the decals as well, don't they? The only thing I wish they would do is redo the instructions.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Some of them are dog shit. Like this, I'm looking at this Panther at the moment, and it is almost looking like a fucking mini art kit for me. So there's the. If I put this on big screen a minute, so sorry you've got me for now. There's the instructions for the gearing. So they could do that a bit better. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. This is why it's a level 2 because you've got to individually put all these bits in. And then
I don't see what the problem is. It just says stick wheels to chassis. That's fine.
Yeah.
So what? There's 804 wheels per Panther.
But I used to think that when they were like this, they would always have a script with them as well. So you'd follow the script down in regards to the pictures. Or was that even before then?
That's before then.
Was that before then?
That was a ridiculously long time.
Yeah, this looks like a sort of 80s or 70s, 80s sort of instruction. That's probably the last time the instructions were reworked. But because they use that software now, which links into the CAD designs, I imagine they'd have to rewrite those. I think it's probably more work than it's worth, seeing as these are followable, aren't they? You could use them.
Yeah.
And I think to create a instruction booklet which follows the same format that the Airfix kits of now do, it would be cost prohibitive.
That's a shout. That is a shout.
Yeah, because they basically design the instructions by designing the kit, don't they? So you'd have to either, as you say, redraw an entire kit, redesign it. Why don't you just re-release it? Because that's a lot of R&D. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea.
Get someone to build it and take pictures of each step.
And then print it out on a 90s stuff.
Print it out black and white. And
old quality paper. Yeah, do that.
And then there's your skill level 2.
Yeah. I suppose.
And then spend more for a skill level 1.
I suppose reprinting or redrawing the instructions would increase the price point. I do get that, but it is basically a scan, isn't it? That's what they've done. It is a scan of the original, and they have actually put them into the, part 1, part 2, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I just felt, maybe they could have. Hella have redone all theirs, haven't they? Well, then again, look at the prices of Hella stuff. Yeah. Cheers for that, Taggers. You'll have a look at the weekend. He's got a pre-release one. But here's a good little comment here, which I kind of applaud as well. Props to Airfix for actually 7th Vintage Classics as opposed to other manufacturers. You take old modes, put them in a new box, and you think you're getting a new toolkit. Yeah, get that, definitely.
Bearcat.
I've ordered a 148 Bearcat for the 48 weekend that Model Officer's doing.
Well, you're building 48 Bearcats in 1 hour.
No. 40
Nice.
scale, 1 to 48 scale in 48 hours.
I did try and get him to buy 48, but he wouldn't have it.
I'm regretting buying that one with seeing the state of this Bantam.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll come out of it a better modeler.
I'm no doubt that. No doubt. Every kit's an experience, isn't it? Muslim. I honestly don't know what it is. Yeah, Bearcats everywhere.
I like Bearcats.
Anybody built a kit with a lot of flash in the last month? It was
So,
Moss,
I'm gonna have to go in a minute or two.
You're going now, are you?
Flash or a kit that may or may not have been supplied by me, but as you alluded to, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna
plug
screen if I can find it. So I've got to go because I've got to go and pick my wife up. But the 48 and 48 build. So basically, this is it's a birthday thing we do in the Model Officers Mess Facebook group every year, and we've been doing it since we started, which is about 6-7 years ago. Our chosen charity is Models for Heroes. So what we do is we do a 48-hour build. You can choose any 148th kit you want. And the rules are simple: just a 148th kit, build it over the weekend, enjoy yourself, get involved with the live streams, etc. Maybe donate a bit of money or get involved in the auctions. And you don't have to finish the kit. All we ask you to do is just pop a post up at the beginning to show us what you're going to start, and a few progress pictures or completion pictures if you manage to get complete. The auction that we do is over 3 regions, so we have different podcasts from around the world to get involved. So it starts on the 10th of March at 7:30 in whichever time zone you're in the world. So for example, we'll start off with the Australian guys on the Friday in the UK, but it'll be a lot earlier than 7:30 at night because they're about 11 hours in front of us, I think it is. So yeah, they kick it off, do a bit of model making, then we go over to Europe, then onto the UK, then the US and Canada. So loads of people from all around the world to get involved. The auctions this year, we do 3 auctions, one in each of the time zones. So Australia, that region, UK, Europe, and United States. And they are region Pacific if you can. If you want to, if you're mad to, bid on an item that's in Australia, for example. However, any bid, no matter which region, the postage and packaging is included on what you pay. So you have to bear that in mind. So if you did bid on something in Australia, then you're going to pay for the postage from Australia to your house, and that could be expensive. So we'd prefer you didn't, but it's up to you. But this year, I can tell you, we have got a stonking auction. We've got all sorts of stuff. The things we've released so far for your titillation are: we've got some stuff from Airfix, we've got some stuff from SMS Paints, we've got some stuff from Outlaw Paints, we've got some stuff from hobby shops, literal bricks and mortar shops from around the UK and Australia and America that are getting behind us and donating stuff. I can't tell you much more than that at the moment, but keep an eye out for all the media for Modelers Mess. on Instagram and Facebook, etc., because we are literally drip feeding the information to you. There is so much in the auction; it would take me an hour to explain it to you what we've got. And there are one-offs, literal one-offs. You will not be able to get anywhere at the potential pricing which you might get within that auction. So please get involved. It's all live streamed on the Model Officer on YouTube. Support the charity. If you can't bid because of funds being low, then that's fine, not a problem. But just get involved in the event and be part of the community. I know Moss is as he alluded to, his Bearcat. That's going to be interesting day. We've got all sorts of people getting involved. We've got some people that you'll know, some people you won't know, and some people that you will not understand how we've got them involved. But yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. If you haven't booked the time off already, go and see your boss. Tell him to get involved as well, and take the weekend off together. Unless you hate your boss, just go sick.
Can we auction using flying hours, by the way, instead of money?
No. No, if you've got flying hours, by all means send them to Model Heroes. They will convert them into kits. They've got Airfix is a big supporter of Models Heroes, so if you don't use them, don't waste them. Cut them off the kit, put them in an envelope, send them to the guys. And Models Heroes, if you don't know, are a charity that deal with serving or ex-service, both military and civilian services, and they use model making for therapeutic treatment. So the charity will supply everything to the beneficiaries, literally everything, to enable them to deal with their foes, and it's life-changing. So if you can, get involved. If you can't support it with donations, etc., that's fine. Just get involved in the event, have a bit of a build, have a bit of a laugh, and just tune in. There you go.
Thanks, James. And honestly, come on every time and do that, mate. I'm quite happy for you to come in and push that, because I'll be there definitely for which will be a bit of fun. Me building a Bearcat live on over the weekend. I don't think I'll get it done in 48 hours, but it will be fun.
Well,
I've actually put it in my diary, so I think
it's just literally a case of getting involved, Moss. You know, at the end of the day, we've got modelers around the world that get involved, and there are a certain group that will stretch the limit as best they can, to the point where they've included electronics and smoke machines and all sorts of things. It's phenomenal. So yeah, it's certainly something not to be missed.
Brilliant, mate. Well, I hope you have a good evening, mate, because you've got to bugger off now, obviously.
I have, yeah. I've got to go and get the missus from work, otherwise I will lose my appendages.
Is that right? Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You have a good one, mate. Thanks for joining in tonight.
It's my pleasure as always. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks everybody in the chat. And speak to you soon.
See you.
Have a good one, James. See you, mate.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I really want a 48 scale Tiger Moth now.
I'm taking suggestions for a 48 kit. So.
Oh, have you thought of a Tiger Moth?
No.
If you can buy me one whilst you're there as well, that'd be appreciated.
Just want to say thank you again to Crazy Locker for sending in a super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Share that amongst ourselves in a minute.
Yeah, we definitely will. It's a charity that's so important. I have a lot to thank for charities like them. Brilliant. Oh, I wonder what the one-offs are going to be. I wonder what the one-off's going to be. I'll tell you what I've always wanted is to buy or to win a prototype Airfix kit, like one that they've had 3D print resin, and just to have as like a
hello.
My desk. So hi Hamish, you back in the chat?
Yeah, my headphones died, and then it just.
You sound like you're stuck in the 1930s, to be honest.
I was going to say.
We are getting an echo from you, I think.
From me?
Yeah.
Either that or Winston Churchill.
No idea.
Oh, fight them on the beaches.
I was at a museum. What day are we today? Saturday. 2 days ago. It was the Yorkshire Air Museum, which, by the way, is absolutely fantastic.
I've been there. It's nice.
It is really good. However, it was freezing, literally freezing, 0 degrees. There was a fog, which meant that unless I was standing practically next to the plane, I could barely see what it was. And because of that, there was almost nobody around, but the tannoy was still playing 1940s music. And it was very surreal.
Amazing.
I just Outlaw Paints contacted me 2 weeks ago. He's claiming that the paints that he has that he sells are the best ever. So he's going to send me some over to try. So I'll be interested to see. I might, if he asks me which ones I want, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to get the Bearcat. I'm going to ask him to send me over those paints and use those paints. But a bit of tragedy there because he's mentioned it, and there's quite a bit on around the YouTube arena that his grandchild died of cot death last week, quite suddenly. So that's why Outlaw Paints has been very quiet on YouTube. So our thoughts go out to Outlaw Paints and the family there while they go through their bereavement. And also, I've linked a guy. I'll say this now while we're on the chat. There's a guy called Hobby Barn who had some devastating news this week that he can't get the operation on his heart because his lungs are packing in. So he hasn't got very long to be with us. But I'd like to see him hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you could go over to his channel, it's called Hobby Barn. He's got a video up. I have linked it into my community wall. So if you have got a couple of seconds, go over there, subscribe to him, then watch one of his videos and leave a comment on one of his videos. That would really help. I'd like to see him hit 1,000. That'd be really good to see him hit 1,000 subscribers. Bless him. So that's two things that's happened this week that's been around in the news for scale modelers. But I'm going to get him on this channel to have a chat with him. So if you could go over there and subscribe to Hobby Barn and give him a like, give him a share, give him a subscribe, give him a sub. So what else was I going to say? I forgot I was going to mention something else as well, and I've just totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's why I'm going to get Hobby Barn on and talk about him. So I'm definitely getting the feedback here. Is it you, Hamish? Let me just mute you a minute. See. Right, am I getting the feedback now? No, it's definitely Hamish.
It was Winston Churchill all along.
It was. It was. Here we go. And Hobby Barn is now in the chat. Hello, Hobby Barn. Hope you're well.
Hi,
really
Terry.
Great to see you. And hopefully, people will pop over there now and get you to 1,000 subscribers.
Hi, sir.
Welly. Speak of the devil. Bless him. There he is, Hobby Barn there. So hopefully you can click on the 3 little dots beside his channel there and nip over and give him a like and give him. But we're going to get him on in the next 2 or 3 weeks and have a chat with him about his journey in scale modeling. So he can tell us. Hopefully, he'll come with a load of tips and tricks for us that we don't know about, which would be good. So yeah, he's now in the chat. Nice to see you, my friend. And thanks, Matt, for putting that link in the chat there. That's brilliant. Thank you. Crazy Lockers gives us another £10 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. That means you can come on next week. We can do another live stream next week. But yeah, how's people getting on with their builds? I'm loving all this work. I'm stuck here because I love to. I want somebody else to do a live stream that I can just sit there and build and not concentrate on the chat and which camera angles and who to put up on the screen.
Well, if you want to jump onto Twitch tomorrow, I'll be live.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Good. Yeah, I've got my birthday last weekend. So I had a few drinks, but there's a couple of my friends that want to meet up on Tuesday night, so I might pop out for an hour for that and come back. No worries, Hobby Barn, we will get you on this chat and we can have a really good chat with you about your modelling career, definitely. Get some good tips out and show us what you've been doing. That'd be really good. And also, our thoughts are with you, mate, and anything, I'm pretty sure that if any modelers can help out in any way, we will help, definitely. If there's a kit that you want, give us a shout. We'll see if we can source it for you. But then again, by what you were saying, I think you've got a Sable for stash anyway, haven't you? You've got quite a lot of kits in the back, in behind you when you're filming, definitely. So, but yeah. Also, if you can like this stream, if you've not liked the stream, give us a like. And if you're not subscribed, give us a subscribe as well.
And don't forget to
anyone here in the chat as well. We'd like to get everyone here that's on the chat up to 1,000 subscribers. So that'd be good. Apart from Rorex, who just won't put in the effort of making a YouTube video.
Yeah, I'm very lazy.
Very
lazy. So much time building his models. When's he got time to film it and edit it and upload it?
Yeah, I had a comment. I had a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment the other week saying, "Oh, nice to see you build more models in 10 parts." And I don't think people realise the effort it takes to actually film and build a model. You know, the effort and the model. I'm building a Meteor, but I've not filmed it. That's just the project I get on with. But I am doing the Bantam as a live stream just for the crack, and also just to promote James a little bit, with his subscription box. But I think it's come out all right. That after swearing and cursing,
I'd like to confirm, as somebody who has only recently started this whole YouTube thing, that by far the biggest time sap is filming, editing, and just getting your housekeeping sorted.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, fuck that.
Even knowing that it takes a lot of work, it still surprises you sometimes. Like you can feel like you have great video footage, and then suddenly it's like, no, it's not nearly as good as you thought it was. And
the worst bit is when you do something that you're really impressed with, and then you look and you realise that the camera's not fucking turned on. That really. I was sprayed up. You know, on that Tempest. I sprayed that Tempest up, but you'll notice in one part of the Tempest build, if you actually look carefully, all I'm doing is waving the airbrush around because I've already sprayed it, but I forgot to film it. You know what I mean? To make it look like I'm putting a gloss coat on.
And then once you've put in all of that effort,
as well, Matt, you must have done that as well.
No, what? I wasn't listening. I was just trying to find out how many parts my P40 had. What was the question?
I just said one of my builds, when you actually build it, you haven't filmed it because you've got to put the camera on. In my Tempest build, there's one bit there where I forgot to spray something. Like I forgot to film the spray. So what I did for B-roll, I just got my hand waving with my spray brush, with my airbrush, doing this, like I'm putting a glove coat on the bloody thing. Like
it happens more than you think. Sometimes I'll have not pressed the button in all the way on my camera, and I'll put like the engine exhaust in, and I'll go to press it off and just turn it on, and I'm like, oh, now I'm recording. Well, I guess I'm pretending to put that bit back in again.
It's a pain in the ass, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did it last week with the whole build of this, so I'm just gonna have to skip that portion.
I've managed to lose.
Miss Bodler did that once as well, didn't she? Miss Bodler was saying she filmed this great bit that she was really proud of, went to edit it, and there's no film of it at all on her camera. It's like, bollocks.
Yeah. So I did with the painting of this Jeep, the whole painting process, because I painted everything on the sprue because it's easier, because it's so bloody small. And I didn't hit record for any of it, and I was sat there thinking, "Oh yeah, that's gonna look really good." There's nothing on my camera at all.
I did a full intro, full intro piece to that, and then realised when I put the same thing, press the end record, and then I started recording myself. I went, "Oh, brilliant! I'm going to do all that over again." I've forgotten what I said.
Yeah, back in the day of me doing face video stuff for my guitar channel, that happened far too much. We'd be like, "Oh, that was the best take we've ever done." Oh,
do it again.
And then it always feels forced.
I've managed to delete like 50% of the files once without actually having edited it, so that was wonderful. They're very difficult to get them back.
Yeah. Wayne Welly's just written, my filming is one take for now through my phone as I don't have a decent camera. Wayne, little secret. That's what I do. I use my iPhone, but I put the res up as high as I do. I do the one under 4K, but I do it at 60 frames per second, and it will upload at 1080p HD because it's 60 frames per second. That's all I use. And actually, I think they did a survey once that 85% of all YouTubers film with either an iPhone or the top end Android phone.
So
really,
yeah,
it's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
all my filming and editing is done on my phone.
Yeah, I would like to get a big overhead camera, and I do have a Ko-fi thing that I've put out there to actually try and save up for £1,000 camera. But at the moment, I'm just using an iPhone. But then, when everyone says, "What do you use for I use iPhone." Wow, you don't use an iPhone. Yeah, I just use my iPhone. But I think the software is that good on these phones now. You can hardly tell the difference between a DSLR or a camera phone, can you?
Until you take photos.
But when you're filming, it doesn't matter, though, does it?
When you're filming, I would agree. In fact, I tend to use. I've got an Oppo, but I tend to use that for filming.
An Oppo.
An Oppo, yeah, a Huawei rebranded.
Wow.
I tend to use that for a lot of filming, other than the overhead stuff. Even when I've got my camera with me when I'm out and about to places, it's just more convenient, and it's got a wide angle lens, which helps.
Yeah.
If you shove that in someone's face, it makes them look really funny.
What, wide angle?
Yeah, you shove it in someone's face, and then it just like makes their face look very, very disproportionate, very entertaining.
Maybe it's just because you're young and you haven't got as many restraining orders as I have, but generally shoving stuff in people's faces unsolicited is not a good way of going.
Well, if you do it to your mates, you can get away with it.
Hurricane Hobby just said, "What is the go-to camera for YouTube filming?" I just said, iPhone. The best iPhone you can afford. Even Casey Neistat uses iPhone, so that says a lot. Or high-end Android phone. But the Oppo is a good. The Oppo's a good. I've always said that if I wasn't Apple through and through, I would get a OnePlus phone. I think OnePlus are brilliant phones.
And to be honest, if all of our data on an Oppo goes to China, then at least they'll know about me sooner rather than later. Rather than by invasion, I've volunteered it, and that's probably going to be something in the future worlds.
Yeah.
There you go. Look, that's my filming camera. The old iPhone. That's an 8. That one is. I do all my filming on that.
Well, that's clearly not true, because how come you're filming your filming camera?
Well, I'm using my other phone for that. My non-drug dealer phone for that one.
Yeah.
What a mirror!
He's got a burner.
Everyone has a burner phone. They make
mate,
life interesting.
I hear you're the one who can get us a knockoff Hurricane for our museum.
It's gone quiet.
Yeah, he's gone quiet. Too close.
Too close.
Are we still talking about cameras? Because
I
think mine's excessive.
Yeah, but how much you pay for yours? 1,400, wasn't it?
About something. It was a lot, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
the one you get when you have as many subs as Model Minutes.
Yeah. I did, literally that was like a year's.
When it hit 20,000, that's what you're saying.
That was like a year's saving on YouTube to buy a new camera. So I've got a Sony Alpha 7 III, which is 4K DSLR. I think it's got a Rode shotgun mic on the top. I've got two different lenses, so I've got one which is more close up and one which is better for just like general filming. Then I've also got camera tubes as well, which extend the focal length so that allow me to get really close, tight shots on really fine details. And then I've also recently bought an Instalink 360, which was about £350, which is a 4K streaming webcam, which has AI face tracking so that you can film yourself and do things with it. And that's what I've been started to use that to do some of my unboxings, and it's made it so much easier to do because you don't lose that quality. It auto corrects for the light. The sound is quite good on it with the internal microphone, so I'm not constantly going backwards and forwards from my more complicated camera to change the shot and the angle, because you can pretty much just do it all in one take on the Instalink, which is really nice.
I feel like I need to one up. So I'm just going to say that I have a line of monks that just write everything that I've done onto a tapestry.
Amazing.
I think I've got the Sony A600.
Mark II, is it?
Sorry, what was that?
The Alpha 7 Mark II. Is that the
I've got the 3.
The Mark II on Amazon at the moment is £1,000.
Yeah, but is it just the body, or does it come with lenses?
It comes with a 28 to 70 millimeter f3.5 5.6 zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's my next purchase.
Yeah, that'll be quite good.
Yeah.
My camera's got two, I think they're 64 or 128 gig memory cards in it, and they fill up quick.
Oh, you can 4K filming.
4K now, do you, man?
I'm mostly 4K. There's a lot of stuff I won't do in 4K because I don't see the point.
No,
so,
there is no point on YouTube.
Yeah, live
they
streams
upgrade it anyway now, don't they?
Yeah, live streams not a chance because they don't even do them in 4K now. And then if something like one of my group build videos or the product announcement videos, I'll do them in 1080. But generally, most other things are done in 4K because I've got relatively fast internet that will upload that quite quickly. My computer is quite powerful, so I can edit that it can render it quite fast. And I've got quite a bit of storage space. I do tend to buy a couple of external hard drives every year, so I can save stuff onto and have them archived. But there is stuff that I'm considering dropping down to 1080 for the unboxings because I feel like that's enough.
I don't think you need anything more than 10 because you remember that YouTube will bring out the fact that you can only watch things in 4K if you pay now, and they're going to bring that out. It's already in the pipeline. They've already done it on a few channels, haven't they? You have to pay the megabucks to get the 4K.
Also, you have to pay for premium to get the 4K.
Yeah, and you don't see that in your analytics either. You don't see that. It's just YouTube. So and also for me, everything's about time for me. So I do it all 1080. I edit and render in 1080. The only time I've done 4K is on the catalog. But as I said, I watch your videos and they look good to me at 1080. Anything, I even put it down to, most of the stuff I watch is on the iPad anyway. So watching it in 720 is not a harsh thing anyway, being such a small screen.
I normally watch on my phone because I'm a Luddite.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? Is that most people will watch on some sort of mobile device whilst they're out and about. So 4K can be a little bit redundant. It can be a little bit of a double-edged sword as well, I find, because there was that thing where YouTube was more likely to recommend you at one point because you were uploading in 4K, but I think they've done rid of that because it was pointless. But for a modeling channel to then have everything in 4K means that people are more likely to see your little errors. Like if you've not been particularly careful with your brush marks and things, they can go, "Oh, you didn't thin your paint there quite to the right ratio," and I'm like,
fuck that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
There is actually a part of this aircraft that is missing, and in the real aircraft, it simply would never work. It just physically could not work, but it's so small and fiddly. I don't know if I can be asked. It is the fuel line that just runs via gravity from the tank to the engine. Can I be asked to do it?
I guess
Hurricane Hoppins just said watching on my iPad at work at the moment looks fine to me. And remember, this stream is only 720. I haven't paid for the big. I've only got the medium one, not the pro one. But that will be in a few. If we get a lot more people coming on here and stuff, and it's valuable, then I will go to pro. But the only thing I regret when I do a live stream is that if I want to edit that video, it's in 720. Whereas if it was doing it live streaming through StreamYard, it is 1080p then, isn't it? But if you do it through YouTube, it's 720, isn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know. I stream on Twitch.
You do.
Follow me at twitch.tv/Captain Scorpio.
I wonder if I could stream on Twitch with this one as well. Doesn't go against a licensing agreement with YouTube, does it?
No, you can stream on Twitch.
But Twitch is the other way around, though, isn't it? You don't get advertising if you stream on two platforms, do you?
If you are
I think
partner,
you can do
no.
a dual stream.
If you are affiliated, you can stream on YouTube at the same time as you are streaming on Twitch.
So if you're a partner and you did it, how would they know?
Because they track you, because they pay you,
Jeff
basically.
Bezos actually personally watches you.
Yeah. Basically, what means that if you are affiliated, you are getting some money. It's like YouTube being 1,000 and monetized. If you are a partner, you have a legal contract with Twitch,
Right?
Which says you can stream on other platforms. You can use parts of your stream on YouTube, but you can't pass the whole stream onto YouTube like a complete thing. There's loads of rules on that. But if you are an
more money being
affiliated,
a partner than it is being an affiliate.
gotcha.
oh yeah, a lot more money, yes. But you need to have an average of 75 viewers to get to partner, which never will achieve that. While to affiliated, all you need is 3.3 viewers on average, so and 50 followers. So
Twitch has lost a lot of ground, haven't they, recently as well, haven't they? So
I think they are making up again, I believe, because YouTube is being slow on their upgrades, but we'll see how future goes.
I would think the quality is a lot less on Twitch than it is on YouTube for live stream. I've watched some live stream modelers, not you, but others, and I always felt it looked a little bit crap. There's a lot of adverts.
There's one. What's his name? Captain VFC is the worst one.
The ad situation can be adjusted, and a lot of people either. I'm not saying that they do it deliberately, but they have their ad set quite high, and it's very fucking distracting when every 20 minutes you have a 60 second.
That's a Twitch thing. I don't know if you got the email on that. If you have 3 minutes of ads in 1 hour, they increase your revenue.
Yeah, I know, but I deliberately didn't turn it to that because I just find it distracting.
I don't have any ads. I think I only have the opening one, and that's it. And then through my stream, there's no more ads because
no, I just wait for taggers to ask me something really important and then run an ad break. And then, I already answered.
No, I don't see the point to get 3 cents or 4 cents to piss off the viewers with ads. So I just, I think I'm not sure if I have the opening one, but I think even the opening one I turned it off. But
can I? The adverts, so you can turn the adverts down, basically, can you?
Yeah, because there's no money into it. Well, there's like 1 pence or 2 pence per minute or whatever. So,
just a thing about mini art. This kit that we got from Jay. The reason I swear a lot on it is because of the flash. I've never seen a kit like this with flash, as in relatively, But if you can see there, look at that, all that flash there on the Land Rover front there, on the Land Rover front, on the front there. That's all flash, that is. Flash around the grills here. Flash here on the seats. Flash in the window. And the worst thing is that when you had the little parts, there was a bit there which had so much flash in it that there was no way, I just had to cut it off. The flash here. There's so much flash on this for a kit. It's so disappointing. And it's mini art, but also I do realise where look at the exhaust there. Look at that lump of flash right on the end of the exhaust. You got to be really careful with that because it's a curved piece. That isn't easy to clean up, is it?
Yeah, right.
It sounds awful.
I've had a few mini art pieces, and they all seem to come with a lot of flash on them.
Yeah,
but they still, even with that said, I still find it quite good quality as well.
Sounds like my 170-second Airfix Willys Jeep has less flash than that 148. Is it 148 mini art Jeep?
Yeah.
I've hardly had any on this. Very small, but very good.
Yeah,
I've heard that before. I think I've got that Jeep.
Yeah, it's a good kit. I recommend it.
Pretty sure I have.
Gordon's alive. Fun with flash.
I made a Revell, don't hate me, P47, which had so much flash on one of the parts, I genuinely couldn't tell what it was supposed to be.
Which one was
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, Revell is. I think Revell is the worst. I have to agree.
It was their relatively new tool, P47M, and it was a part of the engine interior. It was awful.
Yeah. But
When
it
were
just
the,
means, it just, as I said, you know, when you're trying to put something together and you're like, oh, it's flash there, then you remove it to make it look good, and then you end up cutting a bit off which wasn't flash. Do you know what I mean? That's the worst bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. Like I said, you know, when you saw, if you want, you know, I know channel members. I'm wondering now whether to actually put, because it's got a lot of swearing in it. It's just to launch the live without. I've got it set to members only at the moment. So you want to watch it, become a member for $1.99. I sound like a YouTuber there. I sound like a YouTuber there. And I was swearing at it because, you know, the spring was, you had the leaf spring, then you have this little tab right at the bottom here, which is the size of 1/2 mm by 1/2 mm that you got to stick on. Then you've got to stick on the shock absorber, which doesn't really give you much guidance, but it's got to be straight up or to the side. And then when I glued it all together and put it on to put what are they called? That's what I was going to say now. But that there, what's that called there? The
doohickey.
What do you put the wheels on? Drive shaft.
Axle
and drive shaft. We put that on. You got to measure it, put it all in. Then you got to put glue down again to release the shock absorber to put it at the angle that it needs to be. It was just a right old bloody faff.
I got so distracted by that long-winded description that I grabbed a biscuit. What?
The axle, sorry, the axle.
What kind of biscuit?
Yeah. But other than that, it's an alright build. Just a lot of flash, but it does make you know, that people say, "Oh, mini art's coming through," but I just think that they got some to a point now where they don't seem to care as much as they used to. So maybe that's just me. What are you building anyway, Sully? What's that you got on the desk?
It's a bomb.
Bloody good kit that Panzer IV.
It's all right. It's a bit deadly for me, and I'm not used to the small parts. Well, the small, just being small.
Yeah.
But it's all right. It's not too bad, to be fair. I'm just struggling to see everything.
Ben Stratton says, try a Dapo locomotive for flash bearing and sink mark. Great.
Oh God, yes, they are fantastic for that.
I love building the model train kits.
I think I've even got one to hand.
What, a Dapo one?
I wanted.
Some of them are ex-Airfix, you know that?
Yeah. The Harrow's ex-Airfix as well, isn't it?
I've got that
some
one.
Some of them were Rosebud Kitmaster, and some of them were Airfix, and that's an ex-Airfix. The Airfix definitely sold that.
They did. That's a.
The wheels go around.
Oh, on this, no. On this, yes.
Oh wow.
They got a bit cut. They broke on that one.
Oh. I built the Dapo Prairie some years ago, and I did manage to kind of get the wheels to go around, but it wasn't that smooth. The idea originally was that they were introduced in the early days of double gauge model railways, and they were designed so that they could go on your layout, and there was a special wagon which had a motor in it, which if you put behind the locomotive was meant to push your plastic model kit around as if it was pulling the train. And naturally it didn't work too well.
I do have a Prairie somewhere, but I can't find it. The Austerity here, which is actually a really hard one to get hold of because apparently the molds were destroyed in the fire at the Dapo warehouse. You can't quite see, but if it has lead in it, so that if you push it around, it does move itself mostly.
Wow.
But it's a little bit tricky. They're not too bad for their age.
50s Bin Man is also doing the same kit that I'm building as well, so Yeah. We shall have fun with it anyway. What I want to know is this gun that's in the back is actually firing into the tire. I can't get that out of my head.
It's next to it, isn't it? It's just going slightly to the right of the tire. So you
Right
should
to
miss
the
it.
right, is it?
No.
Looks like the barrel's right in the groove there to me.
Yeah, it's gonna. That's how they cut the grip in. They just fire around.
But this comes with a load of figures. Oh, the joy!
How
Look
many
at this
figures?
Figures.
In my experience, mini art figures are pretty good.
Mm.
Not a bit of fluff, but they're very detailed.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Why don't more vehicle kits come with figures?
Because you have to buy them.
But this is it. Like some of the Airfix Vintage Classic kits, they come with figures, so you can make a little pose, you can do a little diorama. But some of them don't come with anything.
Yeah.
Like I've got an Academy P51 with a Willys Jeep or Willis Jeep
Willys.
and Willys Jeep, and there's no figures. So it's like why I know I obviously understand it's to do with cost and to do with molding them and modeling them and all that jazz, but it just would be nice, wouldn't it, to have something that you can build up and make into a little scene.
Yeah, I get that.
You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I
Literally the words.
I'm gonna paint some figures this year. I'm gonna have a good old crack. My mate Celtic West, so I'm gonna get him to come around my house, food, give him a bit of get the barbecue out, and then we'll get some burgers in, and then he can come and teach me how because I don't know whether you've seen my video of the Yeovil model show. Well, if you see in the Yeovil model show, there's busts there of Winters and Tom Hanks that he did. Winters from
Dick Winners.
Yeah, they were ridiculous. Those figures. God.
He painted them, and when I first saw them a few months back, before he took them to Yeovil, I kind of thought, oh, that man's got, and the way he goes, oh, it's easy. You just put a bit of blue, a bit of flesh, a bit of white, a bit of black, a bit of that, and you get that. And like, fuck off. No way. You know what I mean? He looked absolutely phenomenal. And that's why I put them in the video. He'd done an amazing job on those busts. So if you want to go look at it, go in the Yeovil Model Show video. Just look around and you'll see them there, right near the beginning. Of these busts of Lieutenant Winters, as he called him, and the Tom Hanks character. Absolutely fantastic. Really good paint jobs on them, and I like to have a go at that.
Did you see my camel that I did? The
Camel
camel and the ride.
Turned out fantastic.
Was that a 3D print one?
No, it was a Masterbox figures. I bought it to do the figures to go with my Stuart, which I'm still working on. But the camel and the soldier, I thought, well, it would look quite nice to just do a little vignette on it. I haven't really done figures before, but I found a lot of figure painting and sort of minis, Warhammer, wargaming stuff online, and they said to do a zenithal highlight. So if you prime it in black, and then you get your white spray and you spray directly down as if you're doing it from the zenith or the point at where the sun is highest in the sky, then you get these natural shadows. And then if you brush paint over the top of that, thin your paint down so you can still see the light and the dark. It's like pre-shading, basically.
Yeah.
And then you get light and dark in varying places, and it comes through the tones. The only thing I really struggled with was the faces, and I thought I was going to get more like tonal variation, and I was going to do the eyes, but then I just decided, actually, you know what, it's too small. Let people just fill that in with their imagination. But I was pretty happy with that, seeing as my figures were like 1/48 scale pilots and 1/72 scale like soldiers. That's all I've ever really done. So going big, it gives you some practice.
Just quickly, you've built the Bowfighter, haven't you, Matt?
I built a Bowfighter many years ago in my youth.
right.
I have a vintage Bowfighter from the 90s/noughties in the stash.
You haven't got the new one then?
I've not got the new one yet, no.
All right. Who has got the new one then? Has anybody built the new one?
No, it's on the list.
I think LPJ did one.
Oh, that's where it was then, because apparently Tigers has been doing the Bowfighter, new tool, has 2 figures in the parts, but the instructions don't actually make any mention of them or tell you to put them in. Which is interesting. Because normally when they put figures in, they make a big thing about the figures, don't they?
Yeah.
Is that the TF10, is it?
That was actually the same with this Buffalo. The pilot, like it has a couple standing figures, and those are in the instructions, but the pilot isn't in the instructions.
Right,
but
and that's the
it also
one,
isn't. Yeah, but it's also not supposed to have landing gear up. I had to chop it up to do that, so that might be part of it.
You would do,
but...
yeah.
The TF10 has it in the original 2015 release in their instructions. It's in steps 2 and 3, where it's got a question mark next to the figure and an arrow pointing to the chair. But I don't know if they've changed it on the 2020 release.
Or Taggers has been on the cider again.
Yeah, the vintage Airfix engine has figures. Only downside is the driver's hands are missing. He steers with a stump. Yeah. Celtic says he will paint figures for food. Oh, brilliant. Here you go. Luke's on his way now. Thanks, Luke, for joining us. Appreciate your comments. I'll take some pics and put on Discord. So, yeah, Tigers put some pics on and that.
I'm going to jump off now as well. It's been great having you, speaking to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, mate. We're going to finish.
Fun as always.
We're going to finish in a bit anyway.
Take care, buddy.
Cheers, bye.
Who's
going to stay on after this and watch the Airfix or the Hornby show then on here?
Not sure I can stay up that late, but
It's quite late.
We watched it at 11 o'clock last time, didn't we?
Yeah, I know, but
I
was
did.
tired.
Oh, yeah, you're poorly, aren't you? Yeah.
That's so brave.
I think Ms. Mother's going to pop on after. She didn't fancy coming on tonight, but she'll pop in after, she said. So, anyway, I think that's basically it tonight. We've talked quite a lot, actually, haven't we? We've done quite a lot of discussion, which is really good. I'm going to try and get Mr. Mock from Interesting Modelling Company to pop on here and have a chat with us one evening. He messaged me saying if we want him on. I said definitely. So hopefully he'll email us. He's going to email me in the week with some dates to come on and chat. We'll get Hobby Barn on as well, and I'm going to try and get another Airfix, a couple of Airfix lads on as well at some point on the chat too. But thanks all for joining us tonight. If you've not liked the stream, give us a like. It always helps. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, in the description, the channels here on screen. If you click down there and give them also a like and a subscribe, that would be good too. Help them with their channels. And I think that's basically it. Not much more to add than to say have a good week, everyone. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, guys. Have a good
Bye.
week.
Bye.